It's me again, Teacher Alpha, and I am your computer teacher for this school year. Welcome to Computer 8, Quarter 1, Week 1, Lesson 1, Understanding the Internet. The Internet, or Net, is the largest computer network in the world that connects billions of computer users. The word Internet comes from combination between interconnection and network. Well, network is a collection of computers and devices connected via communication channels and transmission media allowed to share resources. And take note that nobody owns internet. Now I want you to take a look at this video. It's all about the history
This
of
episode of Life Noggin is brought to you by Audible. Hey there, welcome to Life Noggin. Thanks to this wonderful thing called the internet, you are watching this video right now. But how did the internet get to where it is today? There is so much internet history that we couldn't possibly get to everything in this short of a video, so we're definitely gonna have to make a second one. Anyway, let's get started. The internet actually got its start over 50 years ago, and computers back then filled up entire rooms. Scientists and researchers used it for years to communicate during the Cold War. It was useful because if one computer went down, the others wouldn't follow. In 1962, a scientist named J.C.R. Licklider proposed the idea of a network of computers that could talk to one another. In 1969, the first ever message was sent from one computer to another over the ARPANET, the government's computer network at the time. ARPANET stands for Advanced Research Projects Agency. One was located in a research lab in UCLA and the other at Stanford. All the message said was log in, and it didn't fail to crash the network. Stanford only received the first two letters of the message, but hey, you gotta start somewhere. By the end of the year, only 4 computers were connected to this network. In 1971, the University of Hawaii's Aloha Net was added, followed by various networks in London and Norway 2 years later. Also happening in 1971, Ray Tomlinson was developing the first system to send mail back and forth between the users of ARPANET. This would eventually be called electronic mail, or email for short. The @ symbol was used to tell a person's name and the host name apart. With all of the networks floating around, there needed to be a way for all of the computers on them to communicate with other networks. This is where computer scientist named Vinton Cerf comes in. He invented a way to introduce computers across the globe to each other in a virtual space. This invention was called Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP, which was followed by Internet Protocol, or IP. In the 80s, scientists used Cerf's protocol to send data back and forth, but the 90s is where it really all began. In 1991, a computer programmer named Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. This wasn't just a data sharing space for scientists anymore, this was an entire network of information that was accessible to anyone with an internet connection. You're using a browser right now to watch this video, and some of the popular ones are Firefox, Google Chrome, and Safari, but in 1992, Urwise was created. Urwise was an internet browser and the first to have a graphical interface. A few browsers came before and after, but in 1993, Mosaic was created, and it would popularize surfing the web. Mosaic influenced many of the browsers to follow, including Netscape Navigator in 1994. This became the most popular web browser at the time, accounting for 90% of the web usage in 1995. In the early 90s, companies like AOL and CompuServe were starting to provide dial-up internet access. Dial-up is a method of connecting to the internet via a telephone line. Your telephone line was plugged into a modem and the other end was plugged into the phone jack. There was a period in history where you couldn't use your telephone and the internet at the same time. Without the internet, we obviously wouldn't have things like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, but way more importantly, we wouldn't be able to access information in seconds. We wouldn't be able to communicate with people from around the world, share ideas, and educate those who might not get a chance elsewhere. Also, without the internet, I'd actually have to talk to someone when I order a pizza, which, by the way, was the first thing ever purchased on the internet. How would your life be different without the internet?
Electronic mail or email is the worldwide system of sending and receiving mail in electronic format. Next is the Internet Relay Chat or IRC. It enables us to talk or to chat to individuals or groups of people. The third one is Telnet. It is a remote login application that permits your computer to log on to another computer and access it as if you were actually there. Next is Gopher. It is an early text-based method for accessing documents on the internet. The last one is the World Wide Web, often abbreviated as the web or WWW. It is a system of linking documents together even if they are on different computers and located in different countries. And Tim Berners-Lee is the father of the. Next is the protocol of the web. So these are rules that allow for inter-machine communication. Okay, the first one is the HTTP. This stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the standard means of transmitting files written in hypertext markup language or HTML over networks. The second one is the SMTP or the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. This is the standard format for sending email messages and attach files to one or more electronic. Third, we have the File Transfer Protocol. This allows for the transfer of files between an FTP server. The last one is the Voice over Internet Protocol. This allows delivery of voice communications over IP networks.
Web browser is a program on your computer, tablet, or smartphone that allows you to view websites. Some common web browsers are Internet Explorer, Safari, Chrome, and Firefox. Because web browsers are often produced by the same companies that produce operating systems and search engines, it is easy to confuse the three. An operating system like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, or Android is the software that is built into a computer or mobile device that allows the user to access programs, save files, and communicate with the device's hardware. A search engine like Google Search, or Bing, is a website that helps users find the information they need on the World Wide Web. It is important to note that a web browser is also not the Internet or the World Wide Web itself, just the program you use to view web pages on the World Wide Web. A web browser is like a librarian and translator, finding the web page you requested, then converting code like this into something more user-friendly. When you request a web page, either by clicking on a hyperlink or typing a URL into the address bar, the browser sends this request to a DNS. The DNS server then connects you to the server where the web page you wanted is stored. This server then sends the source code for the web page back to the browser. The source code is written in a variety of languages that instruct the browser about how to show the web page to the user. For example, HTML labels the content by type so that the browser knows what is a title, what is a paragraph, what is an image. CSS tells the browser how these different types of content should be displayed, indicating the size, position, and color of text, for example. More complicated elements of the web page, including interactive elements like chat windows, are often written in JavaScript. In addition to finding and displaying web pages, most web browsers include features that improve the internet-going experience. For example, you can review the list of web pages you've previously visited using the history function, or bookmark a web page to access again later. A web browser can temporarily save some parts of the source code of pages you visited in a cache, so that if the web page is revisited, it can be displayed more quickly. The web browser may also store data using cookies, which are small pieces of data often used to save your progress on web games or to save your login session, so you don't have to re-enter your password every time you visit a particular website. Finally, many web browsers allow you to install extensions, which offer additional features like appearance customization, ad and pop-up blocking, and password management.
Okay, next is the URL or complete address of a website. Each web page has a designated unique address called the URL or the Uniform Resource Locator. Okay, the first part is the protocol. Next, you have the host name, and then we have the directory, and the last one is the file name. And so that's the end of our discussion. This is Mom Alpha saying, keep safe.